Somebody shout all the way. You know, I don't know about you, but we're going to have to trust God all the way. I see Gloria's online, Darlene's online. Yeah, I want y'all to share because you care. George is in the house. I want you to share because you care. I see y'all saying good evening, good evening, good evening, but I need to see somebody sharing. Who's that? Russ. Snow's in the house. Mark's in the house. Gloria's in the house. Elaine's in the house. Somebody shout, say, I'm in the house. I'm in the house. Yeah, I get your pen and get your pad. I want you to take some good notes on tonight. I'm telling you, we've been diving into this thing called the power of the peacemaker. Any peacemakers in the house on tonight? Yeah, let's look at Matthew chapter number 5 and get our eyes on verse number 8. Matthew chapter 5 and get our eyes on verse number 8. Yeah, Deborah, I see you in the house. Tansy's in the house. Matthew 5 and verse number 8 and verse number 9, it reads like this. It says, blessed or empowered to prosper are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. The reason why you're going to see God is because your heart is pure. The reason why you're going to see God is because you don't have other things that are blocking your view from seeing the God that loves you so very, very much and want the very best for your life. It ain't talking about when we get to heaven. It's talking about on the here and now when your heart is pure. I mean, you got the right heart. You got the right motive. I think with all my heart that, and it's making me look back. I've been sharing in the last 6 weeks or so, been talking to some people and been telling them, hey, there are 4 blanks that you got to fill in with your mind if you're going to be successful in whatever you put your hands to. If you're really going to get the best out of it, if you're going to be what I call elite, you want to excel, there are 4 blanks that you got to fill in when you put your hands to something. Number 1, you got to fill in the blank of your mind want to know what you're doing. What is it that you want? What is it you're trying to do? That what? You got to be able to fill in that blank. Another blank, it's going to want to know, okay, you know what? Okay, how you going to get it done? How you going to get it done? And you know, there are a lot of people, they know what they want, but they don't know how. And that's where they get in a lot of trouble. Apostle Paul said, the things that I wanted to do, I didn't do. And the things that I didn't want to do, those are things I found myself doing. But he knew what he wanted, but he couldn't accomplish what he wanted. And then he made this statement, how to perform that which is right. He said, I don't know. Because if you don't fill in that blank, the devil going to try to fill it in for you. Now, it's something, and another fill in the blank is your why. Your why. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? And there are a lot of people don't know the why. And some people, you're doing some things and you're really not getting God's very best out of it. If you would just backtrack and ask yourself what I'm doing and how I'm doing, I got that. What's not right about this? Go back to your why. Because it's amazing. Man gonna look at your what. If man will look at your how, man really don't care too much about your why, especially if it's benefiting the man that you are serving. They don't care nothing about your why. They don't care if you're doing it to get something, as long as they get their end result. They ain't trying to investigate your why. But God is all the time saying, I'm investigating your why. And when I look at blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. A pure, you can be doing something wrong and have a pure heart, and God will manifest himself and help you. Even what you're doing is wrong, God will help you, because you right now, you don't know what you're doing is wrong, but it's wrong. But God said, I'll help you anyway because your heart's right. You remember that time, y'all probably wasn't there, but Abraham's. Oh, y'all know that y'all was there. Abraham told the king that the girl was his wife was his sister. It was some like, yeah, truth in it, because she was like half sister like, but it was his wife. And the guy said, "Oh, that's your sister." So he takes her. Now the guy was gonna sleep with her he the king, he ready to sleep with her that night. And God said, "Let me tell you something. You touch that one right there." He said, "You a dead man." The dude said, "I ain't do anything wrong." He said, "Out of the intimacy of my heart, I grabbed him." And God said, "That's why I stopped you. Take that man." That's that man. Oh, Lord. You can be wrong, doing something wrong, but your heart right. God will help you. Lord Jesus. Now he said, "Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God." And then it's wild because the next verse goes on to say, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons or the mature ones of God." You know, God has some sons, God has daughters, but they're not all mature. Y'all believe that? When you receive Jesus, are you like mature the day that you receive him? Are you mature in the things of God the day that you receive Jesus, Lord and Savior of your life? You would consider yourself as a what? A baby, a child. And then you would desire what? The sincere, come on y'all, of the what? Word, so you can do what? But you don't want to stay on the milk, do you? You want to leave the milk. Now y'all help me. But there's a certain time that a baby calf sucks on y'all understand? Do they do that forever? No. Anybody know how long does that take? Like, is that a time frame? Huh? A few months. Yeah. It's like and watch this. And they never go back to that. Once they leave that, they never go back to that. Now, is there a certain time that a little boy or a little girl should be being breastfed? Y'all, I'm asking y'all, is it a certain time? Like, can you be 13, 14 years old? Huh? What? You shouldn't be. Man, I looked like one time I seen a little boy, it looked like he was going to work. He was still, but there's a certain time that a child should be breastfeed, right? You should wing them off of that and then start giving them some what? Solid food. So you and I are not born mature. We are born as children, then we grow to this place called maturity. But all the time, you and I got to make sure we're always protecting our heart. You may not know everything. You may not be doing everything right. But one thing you can do right is keep your heart right. That's right. Listen to me, because there's an empowerment that comes on a peacemaker that will not come on a troublemaker. And the devil wants you and I to be troublemakers. He don't want you and I to be peacemakers. Now, it's something because Luke 17, look at Luke 17 in verse number 1. Luke 17 and verse number 1. You get there? Luke 17, verse number 1. Let's read that together. 1, 2, 3, read. Then let me ask y'all this. It's an open book test. Who's talking? Jesus. And who is Jesus talking? Who is Jesus talking to? His disciples, right? Let me finish that, because I told y'all 4 fill in the blanks, and I gave you how many? 3. And why y'all ain't asked for the 4th one? Oh, you gonna wait for the end? Okay, okay. That 4th one is who. You need to fill in the blank of who you are. Who you are. And there are a lot of people, the reason why you're not stepping into your wealthy place is because your identity has been stolen and you're around trying to prove to others who you are. Your identity, and you got to fill in the blank of the who. Okay? Now, Jesus here in Luke 17 is talking to his disciples. And when he told them it is impossible that no offense should come, but woe unto him through whom they do come. Now, this is amazing to me because Jesus is really saying that offenses are going to come. Matter of fact, in the NIV version, in this same verse, it says, Jesus said to his disciples, things that cause people to stumble are bound to come, but woe to anyone through whom they come. Now, we always talk about watch out for offenses because offenses going to come, but we need to put a woe, woe, woe on if you're going to be the one that the devil going to use to bring it. So now watch this. If offenses are going to come, you need to know how to handle offenses, or you will be converted into a troublemaker. If offenses are going to come, you cannot pray offenses away. So if offenses are surely going to come, then offenses are inevitable. You and I are not exempt from offenses coming. But watch this. You and I can be exempt from taking and living in offenses. You and I are not exempt from offenses coming towards you, but you and I can be exempt from taking the offense and then living in the offense, because taking it and living in it is a choice that you got to make. You got to make a choice to take it, and you got to make a choice to live in it. And you don't have to take it, and you don't have to live in it. And he's telling us they are going to come. You can't pray them away, and if you can't pray them away, you need to know how to handle them when they come. Because I'm looking at this man named Jesus, and I'm saying to myself, man, Jesus was a master at this thing. And if Jesus was able to master this kind of thing, you and I should be able to master it, because he told you and I to follow in his footsteps. Now, it's something, because there are going to be some times where you got to master it in multiple ways. You got to master this when it comes to being a peacemaker when it comes to others. This is not about you, it's about others, but you are so wise, you know how to make peace between this group and this group, this person and this person. But then there's going to be some times where it's you and that person, or you and a group, and you got to be able to step in the thing and bring peace in that situation. And watch this. Sometimes peace is not, it may not be external, but it always can be internal in your life. Because when you're dealing with others, they have a will of their own. And I'm talking about Christians now. I'm not even talking about unsaved people. I'm talking about Christians. Christians that have been commanded by God to be a peacemaker. It ain't no suggestion, God, what you think about being a peacemaker? No. No, didn't nobody even come up with this word until Jesus come on and say, you only see this one time. The only person that brought this up is Jesus. He brought this up to let us know some of the things that y'all were doing. This is what you were doing, and you may not have known this is what you're doing, but I need you to know, I need to put what you were doing and put a it's not a title, a word to it. What is it? You've been doing the work of it, but he said you're a peacemaker. He called you a peacemaker. You may not have called yourself a peacemaker. You may have been doing the work, but you ain't know it. He wants you to know this is what you was doing over here so you can keep on doing it all the time. A title? So I'm going to give you this title to go with the work so you know when I'm talking about this, I mean that, and you put them together all the time and you can do it. And if you practice it and you commit to practice this consistently, every time, you'll see yourself getting sharper and sharper every time you do it. Yeah. And let me tell you something. Being offended has nothing to do with the actions of others. Right. Because if offense had something to do with the actions of others, why Jesus didn't get offended? So he had the same thing happen to him that he happened to Peter. Same thing that happened to him happened to John. Same thing that happened to him happened to Philip. Same thing. But I'm gonna tell you, you gotta know when you are offended, stop focusing on what the actions of others, start focusing on the way you thinking. Because offense lies in the mind, it lies in your mind and not in the actions of others. And Jesus was a master at it, man. It was like Matthew's 11. Look at Matthew's 11, but while you're going to Matthew's 11, I'm gonna talk about Matthew's 4, because like I said, like y'all wasn't there, so it's like sometimes I'm trying to talk to y'all, and because you wasn't there, it just messed me up. But we was out ministering one day, and they came and told in Matthew's 4, and they told Jesus that John had been locked up in prison. And all of a sudden now, Jesus said, let's go and preach the gospel. Man, we was going around preaching. Man, we had some awesome times. We was fellowshipping together. And it gets to Matthew 11, we pick up where the guys go visiting John in prison. In verse number 2, it says this. Verse number 2, it says, Matthew 11, verse number 2, it says, when John was in prison, he heard about the deeds of the Messiah. Oh, I'm reading it. Let me read New King James. And when John had heard in prison about the works of Christ, he sent 2 of his disciples. Now, they didn't have a phone that they're going to call each other. And, they wasn't texting each other. So these guys went to visit John one day. And they was telling John about the works that Christ was doing. And John said, hey, did y'all tell him that I was locked up? He said, yeah, we told him that over in Matthew chapter number 4. And John said, well, that's Matthew chapter number 11. And he hadn't been here yet. And now this dude, man, he's off the chain there. And then he sent 2 of his disciples. He sent 2 of his disciples and said to him, Are you the coming one, or do we look for another? Now, y'all got to check out the attitude. Did you tell him that I was locked up? Yeah, we told him. How long, when was that? Matthew 4. It's Matthew 11. You go tell him. Is he the one? Or should we? How did we get involved with me? John, that's you. And I'm going to tell you, if you don't watch it, offended people always like to pull other people in their offense. And you got to watch it. And I'm going to tell you, you got to watch these familiar friends that you have, because sometimes your friends want your emergency, want their emergency to be your emergency. They want their battles to be your battles. And sometimes they are wrong with their battles and emergencies. And sometimes what they call an emergency is not an emergency. It's a harvest that they have been sowing for. And then they get mad at you when you don't help them pay some bill that they. Oh, okay, all right. Now, look at verse number 6. Look at verse number 6, because them dudes left and they went back and they carried that message back to Jesus, because we had told you we was out there ministering, and they busted in on the meeting that we were in, and they said, Jesus, John told us to tell you, are you the one, or should we look for another? And Jesus turned around and he said, man, let me tell you something. He said, you go there and tell John that the blind see, that the lame walk, that the deaf hear. And then he got to verse number 6 right here, and he said, and blessed is he who is not offended because of me. Jesus is saying, empowered to prosper is he who is not offended. So if Jesus is saying empowered to prosper is he who is not offended, Jesus is saying something that he didn't say. We can safely say the opposite of that will fit right here. Because if you are empowered when you're not offended, then you are operating under a curse if you are offended. Thank y'all for being here. Y'all, and I don't know why it took y'all so long to help a brother out, you understand? Now watch this, watch this. All of a sudden now I'm looking at this and I'm saying, now, oh my goodness, I could tell them dudes had an attitude when they came. The way they came in and talked to Jesus, and then Jesus turned around and said, hey, blessed are those. You tell John, blessed is he who is not offended in me. So he's telling John without telling John that you done got off the word and you end the process that the word would do in your life. John, you in prison, but watch this, John, watch this. The power will still flow in a prison if you stay out of offense. John's in prison. He's trying to get John out of this place called of offense. He's offended. He's got off the word, he in the process, and you can tell it by his message, because your language will always locate you. All of a sudden now, Jesus says they turn and they leave and they taking the message back to John. And I'm saying to myself, now I want to see what he gonna do now. I said, boy, because this don't look right, because I was over there with Peter and them, and Peter was saying, can you believe John gonna send them two dudes up here and he gonna bust in on the meeting? I tell you one thing, wait till he get out of prison. Matter of fact, I should go and visit him while he in prison and tell him about himself. And I was like, huh? And all the boys, you got to go. And look at verse number 11. Jesus turned around, and this is what Jesus said. Surely I say to you, among those born of a woman, there has not risen one greater than John the Baptist. Lord Jesus. Notice what Jesus was doing. Jesus was using his words to change the thinking of his disciples, because his disciples were going off the actions of John's disciples. Come on, listen to me, listen to me. I told you, if you're going to master this thing, now Jesus in the middle. John mad, he mad at Jesus. And it's easy for your boys to take on your offense when somebody coming at you. And Jesus handled his business, and then Jesus turned around and said, hey, you know something? I ain't never seen a man that's born of a woman greater than that man John the Baptist. And you'd be like, man, Jesus think that about him? It changed your thinking. It changed your mentality because he was a master at it. It's like David was kind of a master at it. David could mess up a little bit. He practiced at it a lot. But one time David was looking for, Saul was looking for David. And Saul wanted to kill David. Matter of fact, he tried to kill him himself twice. He threw a javelin. They was at a party. It was a victory party. He was in there, and David was up there dancing up against the wall. He bouncing, music playing. And all of a sudden, that dude threw that javelin, and David, boom. And David came back like, I don't even know if Apostle threw a javelin at me in a meeting. You understand? But I come back. That dude threw a javelin at him twice and missed. Then he put out a warrant. He want him dead or alive. What they call it? A bounty. I want this man dead or alive. Saul was so mad with David. One day Saul and his army, they were out, and Saul had to go to the bathroom. We know it was number two that what he was doing. It wasn't number one, because number one, you just get off your horse, go around to a tree. I mean, guys, we different. We get off the horse, go over to a tree, come how I've been to come back. But number two, it's a little private. So he went into a cave. Come on, y'all. Y'all got to see, y'all one day. That's why it's so hard sometimes. Y'all be reading y'all Bible. I'm telling you. So he goes into the cave. And while he in there taking care of business, David's boys see him. Because, have you ever been in the dark? And in the cut, right? And your eyes, you've been in there so long, your eyes have adjusted to the dark, and you can see with somebody, when they step in, they can't see what you see. And boy, them boys, Saul comes in there, David's whole arm, and David had some bad dudes, boy. David had one dude, two guys. They fought a lion in a pit on a snowy day. Now, you need some traction when you fighting a lion. They fight them on a snowy day. One of David's dudes killed 800 men. These dudes was killers, boy. This dude said, David, that was Saul. He said, this is God. God said he's going to deliver your enemy into your hand. This is a perfect setup. And this is what the guy said. David, I would only need one strike at him. I wouldn't need two. I'll kill him on the first strike. Good. Crazy. He said, now, David, this is a good position. You could take over. You could be the man. Let's do this right now. David said, no. David snuck up behind him, cut a little piece off. Saul finished his business. He comes out, and he get ready to get him. David come behind him and say, hey, Saul. Saul turns around. He's armed, and he holds up. He said, hey, don't believe what they said about you, about me. Because if I wanted to kill you, it was a perfect setup. I could have killed you right there. You didn't even know I cut this off. And he said, you know why I spared you? He said, my eyes spared you. I couldn't touch God's anointed. Now what, this dude, can you imagine David was in the perfect position that seemed like to get some justice. If David didn't have his heart right, David would have killed that man because his own men, and the Bible said, and David with his words, he settled his men down with his words. He telling his men, no, we don't do it like this. We do it God's way. God wants us to be a peacemaker. I know this man trying to kill me, but I'm not gonna kill him because he wanted to kill me, but my eyes won't let me do this. And this man had a revelation. When your heart is right, God will begin to speak to you. There's some people, you want God to speak to you, and you're looking at the what, and God is trying to figure out the why. Your heart ain't right. You got to have a pure heart. There's some husband and wives, man. You going back and forth. You going back and forth with each other, and nobody want to rise up and be the peacemaker. And you feel justified by what you're saying, but nobody want to step back, and nobody wants to say, okay, let me try to take my eyes off the what and try to bring up a conversation about the why. Because if I was telling somebody on today, some years ago, when we was coming up, my father used to make us go to meetings with church meetings and stuff like that, and they would argue and kind of stuff like that. The deacons, sometimes they disrespect my father, which is pastor, and one deacon man, he would get loud. And as a little kid, we ain't know nothing about being a peacemaker. We was like, if Daddy would just punch him in the face one time, just punch him in the face. And what is he gonna do? What is he gonna do? What the man gonna do? Daddy would knock him out. We little kids, knock him out. And cause see, the guy, when he get to talking, man, he would raise his voice and his voice would just get all loud. And then I probably was about 17 years old now. 17 years old, and I'm going inside the church, and he coming through the door. It's like a one-way strip. You open up the door, and somebody got to move to get out the way. And I'm thinking about all them years of this guy, and I'm like, I'm not gonna move. I'm 17 years old now. I ain't moving. So then all of a sudden I said, let me just move, and I moved, and then I said, how you doing, Deacon? I ain't gonna call his name. I said, Deacon so-and-so. And he said, I'm doing fine, Dwayne. He said, man, let me tell you something. Man, I've been battling challenges for a long time, Dwayne. I'm sitting there. My mind, my father should have helped you like long time ago, kind of straighten that out. And he said, and I'm trying to get them to change this. And he pulled his shirt down and said, you see this cut? He said, inside here, I got this, it's thick. They got this thing, and when I talk, it raises my voice. And then when I'm trying to get my point across, it makes it seem like I'm angry, but I ain't angry, Dwayne. It's just boxing here. I was like, snap. I wanted my father to punch you in your mouth, because your mouth was, I didn't know it was that thing that was causing that. And then when I found out the why to the what, I felt like this. I've been like, if Daddy would have hit him, I would have probably said, Daddy, why you hit that man? But why are you laughing back there? You recognize the why of the what. And now the what wasn't as big as what I thought. That's why I'm telling you, you're going to have to map. That's why some relationships right now, because all of y'all are focusing on the what of it, and y'all may talk about the how they did it. Well, let's get over here and talk about the why. Let's talk about that. Because then if we start really investigating and we find out something, just maybe we'll back up off of it and stop causing trouble and then make some peace. It's amazing because there are some people that will never live up to their name because they don't want to let go of the what that has happened. What you mean, Pastor Wayne? I'm saying this. I'm saying you'll never live up to your name because you're so consumed with the what. And you forgot about who you really are and whose you really are. And then start functioning from that point. And then why you function the way you function, you'll find out that just because others misbehave, it won't cause you to misbehave because you know the who and you know the why of what you are doing now. We say Jesus is the Prince of Peace. if he is the Prince of Peace and we have received his peace, then we should be a carbon copy of him. And when you are not a peacemaker, you are not living up to your name. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you remember over there in Philemon, it was a guy named Onesimus. And Apostle Paul, Onesimus was a runaway slave. He ran away from Philemon because he stole some money from Philemon. He stole some money and he was a runaway slave, and they had a bounty on his life because if you were a slave and you ran away, you could be punished by death for that. And he stole some money. Man, he had a death sentence on his life. But when he ran away, he got connected to Apostle Paul. He got born again. Apostle Paul ministered to him, discipled him, brought him up to a point, and found out that he came from Philemon's place. And he said, hey, Philemon, I'm going to send him back to you. Onesimus, one time he was unprofitable to you, but now he is profitable. I want you to treat him a certain way, but I want you to do this and put it, if he owe you anything, put it on my account. Paul was like a master in this thing of peacemaking. And then all of a sudden he said, one time he wasn't profitable for you. It made me look the man's name up. The man's name meant profitable. And he was acting not according to what they named him to be. He never lived up to his name until he got a hold of Paul, and Paul helped him, showed him about agape and honor, caused him to raise him up, and now he started living up to his name. How many people live and die and never live up to their name? You connected to the Prince of Peace. Are you going to live up to that name? I'm thinking about Absalom. Absalom, he turned on his own daddy. Absalom got so mad with his daddy because when his brother slept with his sister, his daddy didn't correct him the way that he thought he should. And there's sometimes you get offended with your leader because they didn't do it the way that you thought they were going to do it. And now you upset with the leader. And now he's upset also with his brother. The Bible said he didn't even speak good or bad to his brother for 2 years. Can you imagine? You ain't saying nothing good, but you ain't saying nothing bad, but you always rehearse it in your mind, the event that happened. And it's something about offended people. If you don't watch it, offense will open the door to anger. Anger now, watch this. Anger will give birth to resentment. Resentment will give birth to bitterness. And then bitterness will lead you to unforgiveness. And if you replay events in your mind, it amazes me instead of how the devil will update an event in your mind and make you think that that event was yesterday. I remember I was talking to one couple, and I said, but what is the problem? And it's 17 years ago. 17 years ago? Like, are you really serious? And they talked about the 17 years ago like it just happened the other day. I was talking to a couple not too long ago, and they were going back and forth, and then the guy said, the lady said, Pastor asked him, when did that happen? And he said, it was 4 years ago. I said, man, you made me think that was last week or something. The way you talk, that was 4 years ago? You know why he can't let it go? Because you're allowing the devil to update, watch it, update Update past event. Update past event. No wonder the scripture said cast down. Cast down. Cast down those imaginations, those things that the devil is updating your mind on. And there are a lot of people, you allowing the devil to play with your mind. You giving him free course in your mind. And he's updating the event. And you so mad, it's just like this thing happened just yesterday. And this dude held on to this for 2 full years. And then he set up a party. And he had somebody to kill his own brother. Man, and then he told him, he said, man, when I tell you to strike him, so he had to, when I tell you to strike him, that's when you strike him. So he had to say, strike him. And then the man killed him. Your own brother. You've been holding that for 2 years. You look at you. You're going against your brother. And all of a sudden now, going against your daddy, and all of a sudden, I look at his life, because he refused to be a peacemaker, he got converted into a troublemaker. He wasn't always like that. I was like, Absalom, was Absalom always like that? And then I thought about it. Let me look his name up. I looked his name up, and he said, my father is peace. One of them said, Father of peace. That means it was really saying he is the source of peace. This one really blew my mind when I was reading this. Absalom came after David slept with, Bathsheba and all them. You know David married Bathsheba, right? Y'all remember that? The funny thing about that sometimes, God took a long time before they started acknowledging that Bathsheba was his wife. Because sometimes when you read it, you go back after they done killed Uriah, right? And then they call her Uriah's wife. Uriah's wife. Now watch this. When he slept with Bathsheba, you remember when the prophet of God came to him? The prophet of God said, man, let me tell you something. David, because of what you did, you opened up a wide door for the enemy to come in. You gave great occasion to the enemy, and it's going to go down your family line. Now watch it. They have a baby, and the baby's name is Absalom. They call him the father of peace, the source of peace. They said, maybe we can get some peace. Maybe this one can live up to his name and give the family some peace. And notice, the one that was supposed to live up to his name, he got offended. And he ended up, watch this, being a troublemaker. And troublemakers seem like they always end up with the short end of the stick. This dude riding on a donkey one day, and his hair so long, I guess he's going kind of fast, and the hair bouncing up, and his hair got caught in a tree. And the donkey kept going, and he hanging from a tree. You know how painful that is? That his hair is holding him so that I know he was screaming. Ooh, he was screaming. And then his enemies found him. And when they found him, that dude took that sword and stabbed 2 times in the heart and killed him. The guy who was supposed to have been the source of peace ended up being a troublemaker. And look what he ended up with. It's amazing, man. Empowered to prosper are the peacemaker. Operating under a curse are the troublemakers. Look at, y'all help me out with this one. Look at Genesis chapter number 8. In Genesis chapter number 8. Genesis chapter number 8. Look at verse number 7. Yeah, you got to make sure you stay on top of your game. Now, y'all remember when Noah was on the ark and it's rained all that many days, and all of a sudden he's on this big ark, and verse number 7 says, it was getting close to the time for them to get off, And it said, verse number 7 said, and he sent out a raven, not Baltimore, but a raven, the bird, and which kept going to and fro until the water had dried up upon the earth. So Noah sent out a raven, and the raven never came back. The raven, even though the water hadn't, what you call it? Huh? Yeah, receded. The ravens, you know, they scavenged it anyway, and so they flying and flying, they never came back. So verse number 8 said, he also sent out for himself a dove to see if the water had receded from the face of the ground. But the dove found no resting place. It's amazing, the dove found no resting place. The dove found no resting place. So they still had to be some kind of confusion still kind of like on. The dove would never rest in confusion. The dove needed a resting place, and that resting place to me is like peace. Watch this. No resting place for the sole of his foot. And she returned into the ark to him, for the water was on the face of the whole earth. So he put out his hand, and he took her and drew her into the ark to himself. And he waited yet another 7 days. And again he sent the dove out from the ark. Then the dove came back to him in the evening, and behold, look, a freshly plucked olive leaf was in her mouth. And Noah knew that the water had receded from the earth. So he waited yet another 7 days, and he sent out the dove, which did not return to him again anymore. Now it's something, because I'm looking at this and I'm saying, there's a judgment just hit the earth. Rain and destroyed everybody. All life was destroyed except the life that's on this ark. He sends out a dove. The dove comes back because he didn't find a resting place. Waited 7 days, sent a dove out again, and the dove comes back this time, but has an olive leaf in her mouth. Now, it's amazing that we come up with this thing called an olive branch. Like, help me out. What's an olive branch? Huh? A symbol of peace. A symbol of peace. Now, when somebody, they say they are extending the olive branch. But this is what amazes me. The dove came back with an olive leaf. It's a symbol of peace. And I believe God was all the time trying to tell Moses, the judgment is over, Moses. I'm at peace with you, and let's start something new. Because the mere fact that he brought an olive leaf let us know that there's a new life, new plants beginning to grow. There's new life. Watch this. When the judgment hit, when the judgment is over and the peacemaker hit, there should be some new life. There should be some new life. Like you shouldn't be living in what we settled years ago. You should be the new life now. Like, why are you still fussing about what y'all did in the past? Because what y'all did in the past is not going to prepare you into your future. You got to let go of that old stuff and then grab hold of the new stuff. And this dove brought something back. And I believe it was a symbol of peace, and it was a symbol of new beginnings, saying that the judgment of the flood is over and there was a new life beginning from here on now. And I'm telling you, that's what happens when you're a peacemaker. When you come in as a peacemaker, you bring in an olive leaf. You're bringing an olive branch. You're saying, man, we're going to end this. We're going to end this. This confusion that was going on, we're going to end that, and now we're going to start something new. All of this was in the Bible. And I see it all the time. And you will never lose. If you'll never lose when you are a peacemaker, I don't care if it looks like you're going to lose, you will not lose because there's a grace, there's an anointing that comes upon your life that you will not lose. And there are a lot of people, you don't trust the grace that's on your life. That's why you think you're going to lose. And that's why you don't give in. You don't give in. You don't allow the Holy Spirit to lead you. You do it your way. Because your way, it makes you feel at peace. But that's the kind of peace that the world gives. It's not like Jesus. Over there in Genesis chapter number 13, verse number 6, you see where Abram and Lot, they had a little situation going. And in verse number 6 in chapter 13, verse number 6, it says, now the land was not able to support them that they may dwell together, for their possessions were so great that they could not dwell together. And there was strife between the herdsmen of Abram livestock and the herdsmen of Lot's livestock. Now strife lets me know there's some kind of disagreement, some kind of confusion. Somebody now is operating in offense. And then Abram in verse number 8 said, so Abram said to Lot, here go the peacemaker, please, man. Can you imagine? Abram is the one that got all the stuff. Lot just feeding off of Abram. Now he coming to Lot and said, please let there be no strife between you and me and between my herdsmen and your herdsmen. For we are, what y'all? Brethren. Is not the whole land before you? Please separate from me. If you take the left, then I will go to the right. Listen to this man. Or if you go to the right, I'll go to the left. Man, he said, look how this dude, he the one that's God called, and the one that God called and looked like Lot, making Lot look like he was the one that God called. And then he said this. So Lot, he looking and checking out the land, so Lot knew I'm going that way. Verse number 14, it just blows me away. Because Abram told him, said, you go to the right, I go to the left. You go to the left, I go to the right. Verse number 14 said, the Lord said to Abram, after Lot had separated from him, he said, lift up your eyes. Lift up your eyes now and look from the place where you are. He said, northward, eastward, westward, and southward. He said, I don't care if Abram went right, you still can go right. If Abram went left, you still can go left. Because he said north, east, south, west. He's telling you whichever way you want to go, you go. I don't care if you told him go left, you can go left. You pick. He said you go northward, southward, eastward, westward. For all the land which you see, I will give to you and your descendants forever. Here this dude trying to be a peacemaker and help him out. Lot end up in the enemy's hand, and the same one you got trouble with, that's the same one sometime got to come back and deliver you. Let me tell you something. If you're going to be a bona fide and master being a peacemaker, what'd I just say? There's some questions you need to ask yourself if you are a peacemaker. Number one, do I strive to find solutions that satisfies all parties involved? You got to ask yourself, you got to be serious about this. Do I strive, do I work hard at to find solutions that satisfies all parties involved, or am I so concerned about my side? You cannot be a peacemaker just focusing on your side. Number two, do I actively listen? You see the word actively? Do I actively listen to others and try to understand their perspective before responding? Or do I respond without knowing their perspective? Why did you leave that on the floor? Why did you leave? Why did you do it? I didn't do it. You don't even want to hear my perspective. You just jump asking me, accusing me, and there you go. But watch, you don't even want to listen. Do you actively listen to others and try to understand their perspective before responding? If you're gonna master this peacemaker, you can't just go ahead and just respond. You gotta listen. Do I empathize? Number 3, do I empathize with others' feelings and try to see things from their point of view? So 1, I gotta actively listen. The other, I wanna leave my side and go on their side and see it from their point of view. I've seen so many marriages jacked up because no one want to take the time out to go on the other side to see that one's point of view. I was talking to a couple on yesterday, and they were sharing with me about something, and I listened, I started laughing. They said, "Why you laughing?" I said, "Because really, both of y'all right." "How can both of us be right?" I said, "Okay, this one is saying this one is saying that. But this and that are not the same thing. Y'all just put this and that together in one kind of, you group them together. But when you ask me this question, this ain't got nothing to do with this. So let's separate this. Okay, come over here and look at this. This is what she said. Is that right?" And they said, "Yeah." I said, "You come over here. This is what he said. Is that right?" "Yeah." I said, "Well, why y'all telling me that somebody was wrong? Why y'all fussing about it? Now both of y'all agreeing with each other. You know why? Because y'all done mashed two things that never was supposed to go together. And the reason why you have them like that is because you ain't listening. You ain't really listening. You just really trying to get your point across. And the reason why you trying to get your point across, because you offended, you mad, and you don't want to be a peacemaker. All I did was split the thing and tell them, is this the same thing as this? And both of them agreed, no. What is this saying? This is saying this. What is this saying? This is saying, so let's separate them. Is this right now? I got this over here by itself. Is this right? Oh yeah, that's right. Is this right over here? Yeah. Okay, let's separate them. And y'all separate and stop fighting. Boy, it was funny. And I'm sitting there, I feel like Judge Mathis sometimes, you know what I'm saying? No, I'm just playing. Let me move to the next. Number 4. Do I remain calm and composed in tense situations, heated situations? Do I remain calm and composed in heated or tense situations? I mean, if you're gonna master this thing of peacemaking, you gotta be able to control your emotions, because some people, your emotions are off the chain. I mean, your emotions are out there. Here go another one. Am I willing to make, or let me say this, am I willing to, I want to use, compromise, but I don't want to use compromise. Is compromise okay? Okay, let me use, are you willing to negotiate to resolve a disagreement and maintain harmony? I like to negotiate. Okay, it's amazing that Christians don't use the word negotiation when they are in a conflict, when they're in a disagreement. It blows me away that when we disagree, we can't negotiate, but when we disagree, when you selling your house, we negotiate. She says she won $200,000 for her home. And I said, man, I ain't paying 200. I said, what about 180? And then she come back, no, 190. She said 195. And then I say, well, how about 190? And then I said, the best I can do is 192.5. And then she said, okay, I'll take it. Now watch this. Both of us leave away with both of our needs being met, both of our desires being met because we negotiated. This what Christians do. This is what Christians do. They go back and forth. I tell you one thing. Let's just agree to disagree. Now watch it. You just telling me nobody wins because everybody's still holding on to their position. Like how do we hold on to our position, but when it comes to out there in the world, we can negotiate. And they start negotiating with us. I mean, have you ever been to a store and they had a price on something? You say, what about this? They said, this. I'll tell you one thing. Okay, let's do it. I remember one time I went to this jewelry store and Lisa, we was together and we went to buy something and the guy said that. She said, Dwayne, you want it? Go ahead and just get it. I said, no, I just don't feel right. Because that Southeast, like, it's like getting a deal. You're supposed to get a deal. This guy don't want it. And I said, I tell you one, don't worry about it. I don't even want it. And we walking out. They said, why are you walking out? I said, Lisa, it's a plan. That ain't, I don't want to walk out, but that's the plan. You can't just, you make them think, I don't want it either, and just walk out. And I'm waiting for the guy to say, hey, sir. He ain't say a word. I walked on out. 2 days later, we go back, and we in there looking at his thing again. And then had another person. And then they told me the price. I told them, I said, nah, come on. I can go down the street and probably get that down there. And I'm walking out, that dude said, hey, sir, come back here. I said, yes. He said, okay, well, what do you want to pay? I said, I want to pay this. He said, okay, well, how about let's meet right here in the middle? I said, I feel it. That make me feel good. I said, thank you, sir. I'll take it and leave on out. We negotiated. He's smiling. I'm smiling. He may have smiled more than me because he probably had the thing mocked up higher than what it really was. But I felt good about it. I'm saying why we can't do that when it comes to the thing. Now, here goes my last one. Do I encourage and promote peaceful interactions among others? Do I encourage and promote peaceful, what kind? Peaceful interaction. Now, it's something because your first thing with your brother, your sister, I'm talking about in the body of Christ, I'm talking about your brothers and sisters, your leaders, who else that could fit in the body of Christ? Brothers and sisters among your leaders. Is there any other group? It's leaders, brothers and sisters. Would that be all of them? Cover everybody? Huh? Okay. Now, this is the last point, the question that, but I usually put this one first for me. When I feel that, because you could feel offense, like you could feel it. You could feel it when you're boiling, when you're getting a little angry. Ask yourself this question: do I really think that this person or my leader intended to hurt me? See, because you got to get to the heart of the thing first. And if you never get to the heart, you're going to focus on the what, you're going to focus on the how, and you're going to end up being a troublemaker. And troublemakers always, mostly, end up destroying their own lives. I want to see Lottie Dottie and everybody live up to the name that you call the one that saved you. He is the Prince of Peace. He's the one that gave birth to this peace that he's given you and I. Now he's not around, but he wants you and I to represent him. And the way we represent him is by living like him in this earth realm, just as he was here. Just as, how'd it go? Just as he would if he was here during our time. Say, I'm a peacemaker.
I'm a peacemaker.
Come on, say, I'm a peacemaker.
I'm a peacemaker.
Come on, online, I want y'all to say, I'm a peacemaker. Come on, say, I'm a peacemaker,
I'm a peacemaker.
and not a troublemaker.
Not a troublemaker.
Yeah, I'm finished. I'm finished. Any questions? Any questions or comments about the lesson on tonight? Question going once, question going twice, question going 3 times. You one question? We going out, it's like 2 questions, and we are going out of sight. Let's receive offering before they get away from us, because y'all be playing us. Y'all try to, after we finish, y'all try to get off. But I want y'all to give on tonight. I want Lottie Dottie and everybody to sow on tonight. Yeah, great lesson. Okay, if it's a great lesson, I want you all, if you receive something on tonight, I want you to sow. I want you to sow in the good ground. You'll see in the lower thirds that they have secure ways for you to give. And I want you to follow the instructions that they have online. They should be putting up some secure ways for you to give. All right? I want you to give on today. And then, yeah, okay, I see it. Even online, make sure you all are, I see the ministers on there putting in the different ways for you to give. Yeah. Okay. I want you to give on tonight, and then make sure you're giving it into above your tithes and offering. Make sure No Lack Nation, you want to make sure you sow into that. What we have coming. Who's scholarship? When is scholarship? Is that come? The fifth Sunday? Yes, fifth Sunday scholarship. Okay, and then so on Saturday, we have a service here Saturday at 6 o'clock. 1 hour of power with the towels at this location right here in Baltimore. Then Sunday at 8 o'clock, and then at Temple Hills, 10 o'clock at Brandywine, 10 o'clock at, what did I say, Brandywine, at Baltimore, and then 7 p.m. Nightcap in Brandywine. Y'all should visit Nightcap one time. Just take a ride up to Nightcap and just represent BMO one day. And y'all just come on up. And Apostle would love to see y'all in the house on Nightcap. All right. I think that's it. If that was your first time being with us, I want you to type in number 1. They're going to show you so much love. They're going to appreciate you. And we're going to see y'all when we see y'all. Sunday, Saturday, Sunday night, we see y'all. Who's that, Bishop Coles? Good stuff, Rabbi. All right, Bishop. Bishop Coles from Ohio. All right, we'll let them go. 2 Corinthians, because we got some questions, a couple questions here. I think we got to let them go because they don't want to, they probably don't want to stick around for no questions anyway. 2 Corinthians chapter number 5, verse number 7 says, we walk by faith, not by sight, no doubt about it. Hey, we see y'all.